Okay. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of On the Cutting Room Floor, presented by Publicity Agents. I'm the host, Tony Harvey. Hope everyone's doing well on this April 5th, 2024. And you know why I'm here, so let's get down to it. Sacramento Kings lose to the Boston Celtics in TD Garden tonight in Boston, Massachusetts. 101 to 100. They lost by 1 point. And considering how the game ended, it doesn't really tell the whole story. We'll get into that. But there's some murky waters that the Kings are floating in right now. And I'm pretty sure that they understand that with some other activities going on that concerns the NBA Western Conference standings. So the Kings dropped to 44-33 on the year. They are now 21-18 on the road this season, and they have lost 2 straight since their 5-game home stand in Sacramento, go to one center. And they have lost to this team for the last 6 times. The Boston Celtics. So the Celtics takes the season series 2-0, and they improved their record to 61-16, the best record in the NBA, East or West. And they are now 34-3 at TD Garden this season. That old Joe Mazzulla, that's the coach of the Boston Celtics, the guy who once told us while he was here in Sacramento last season, not this season, that he pretty much emulates the style of Mike Brown, the head coach of the Sacramento Kings. And I pretty much would have to say that he has the upper hand right now, coaching this team, the Boston Celtics. So yeah, the Kings are in crazy territory right now with that loss. I think the Suns are playing right now. The Warriors are playing right now. And the New Orleans Pelicans, they played, but they lost. And the Mavericks, they're playing right now. Matter of fact, the Mavericks and the Warriors are playing right now as we speak. It was 77-76 I last checked, in favor of the Mavericks. Luka Doncic is not playing in that game. So we'll find out what's happening with that. And we'll have probably more details in my next digital commentary going into Sunday's game when the Kings take on the Brooklyn Nets. So they lost to the New York Nets last night, 120-109. They zoom up to Massachusetts, Boston. They lose there. Now they about to reroute themselves and head back to New York. Okay, and they'll be playing in the borough of Brooklyn. They'll play the Nets, and the Nets not really doing all this well, but I'm not even going to give them a guaranteed win playing the Nets on Sunday, April the 7th. Because, see, when you get down to the end of the season, and especially with the losing team, not saying that they're going to tank, but you have players who are trying to hold on to their future, trying to hold on to their jobs or get a job, going into the next season. So, they're in that audition stage and they trying to show the league, what they can do. So that could very well be, and I don't like to use the word very, it could be the same situation for the Brooklyn Nets and their players. But we won't find that out until Sunday. But let's talk about this game. Sacramento Kings, they lose in defeat to the Boston Celtics. Once again, 101 to 100. De'Aaron Fox had 40 points tonight. And they pretty much, he had 40 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. But what was crazy about it, they were down by 19 points. And they came back and they almost had a chance to win. But what I I'm not going to say that I don't like or anything like that, when it comes to these type of situations, because De'Aaron did score 20 points in the fourth quarter, so he was trying to will that victory in for his team. He's been playing well for the last couple of nights, if you ask me. He had, 29 points last night in the loss against the Knicks. But, Joe Mazzulla, okay? I would say about the last 6-7 minutes, he used a bench unit, a bench squad to finish out the game when he had a comfortable lead. I mean, they were up, 98-79? And at some point, Mazzulla just pulled the starters, including Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis. I don't even know if Horford was on the floor. Hauser, he definitely had to pull him off there. He was terrible tonight for the Boston Celtics because Jaylen Brown did not play, so they inserted Hauser in there in the starting spot. He was 1 for 18 from the field. And he's a 43% three-point shooter, but he was 1 for 18 shooting from the field. But yeah, he had I think he had Pritchard in there, who was a reserve anyway. When the Kings was making that run, Xavier Tillman, Cornette, I think he was in there too. They had the bench unit in there. So the Kings came back basically on the bench unit, okay, the reserves for the Boston Celtics. And so I'm not saying that I don't like anything like that. I understand the run. No, there's no moral victories for this one just because of the way they lost. But we're down by 19 points. You come back, you had to do it on the bench squad. I'll just leave it there. I'll just leave it right there. But Fox, he had an absolutely phenomenal night trying to come back to pull that off. Because he understands the situation. He said it after the game. We let that one get away. Understanding what the situation they are in the NBA Western Conference. Knowing that, understanding that. So, they have 2 more games on this road trip. It's a 4-game road trip. And right now, oh boy, I would say anytime this season that the Kings have came back from a road trip under 500. Okay, they're usually 1 or 2 games, 4 games, over 500 on these road trips, every road trip package that they have. But they lose this game on Sunday against the Nets, they would definitely come back under 500. I just hope they do not come back 0-4 on this road trip. Oh boy, it's been a crazy week for sports, at least in my eyes. My fighting line out of Illinois, the University of Illinois, they went down in a crushing, savagely defeat against the UConn Huskies in the Final 8. Of course, UConn will be moving on to the Final 4. They'll be playing this weekend. But I do want to give it up to my fighting line. They had a pretty much fantastic season, if you ask me. 29-10, 29-11 season. Brad Underwood made it to the Final 16 for the first time, and he made it to the Final 8 for the first time in his coaching career. So hopefully seeing what happened to the team. UConn went on a 30-0 run in the second, that started in the first half and blended over into the second half, and they just blew that, blew the Illini out and stuff. So I just want to bring that because that's my team. I don't care. Okay, I'm really proud of those cats. The Coleman Hawkins, who's from Sacramento, Terrence Shannon, and Marcus Domask. Shannon and Domask will be moving on. Maybe Domask. I think something's going on. He's trying to earn a 6-year spot. But they really played their butt off. Dane Danger, he just went into the transfer portal. Thank you, guys. But anyway, back to the Kings. So, Domantas Sabonis, he records his 60th double-double of the year. He had 16 points, 16 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block in 33 minutes for the Kings. Okay, Keegan Murray. Ooh, wow, man. 10 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal in 41 minutes. But he was 4 for 15 shooting from the field. 2 for 10 in 3-point territory. He did not go to the free throw line, and he only had 1 block. And he did play 41 minutes. He had a really bad shooting night. Oh boy, he did. HB, who did score last night, he had 10 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 for 9 shooting from the floor. 28 minutes, 2 for 8, 3-point territory. Okay, getting back to Fox. Yes, he did have 40 points. He had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal in 44 minutes. He was 16 for 29 shooting from the floor, 7 for 13 beyond the arc, and he made 1 or 2 free throws. And he scored 20 points in the fourth quarter. So it's the second night in a row that he had to score, that he had to put up that many baskets. So within 2 nights, he done shot the ball 58 times. 58 times. And he was 16 for 29 tonight. And as far as the threes, he done shot 26 3-pointers in the last 2 nights. So he's 13 for 26 shooting threes these past couple nights. Got to do it. This was the thing that we were talking about when they were on that homestand and they did not have the services of Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter. These guys was going to have to be extra. They had to be extra. Fox and Sabonis and Keegan and Harrison Barnes. They had to be extra. And they still have to be extra because this is not over. We got 5 games left. 2 on the road, 3 back here in Sacramento to close out the season. And then we'll see what happens from there. Providing that would happen with these other games that I just mentioned, the Sacramento Kings is a play-in team. Okay? And I think that deal will be sealed tonight regardless. They can't drop no lower than 10 than these last 5 games. But unless they win 5 straight, okay. But at this point, and I pretty much declared it a couple of weeks ago, that this is a play-in team. This is a play-in team, okay? And I'm not saying that in a bad or negative way, because injuries have hit them hard. Because, yes, they can use a Kevin Huerter right about now, and they definitely can use a Malik Monk. I heard some report on the radio show. I think it was Scott Marsh and Henry, the high flyer, Turner. Always listen to them, before tip-off road game. Something about Malik Monk told a reporter that he could possibly be back soon. What for? Okay, you got an MCL sprain. They said you're going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, and believe me, what I know with the medical staff in the past, putting those players out there a little bit too early. This is a different medical staff that they have currently and stuff. But I'm just talking a few years that was not the right idea. Okay, Marvin Bagley and all of them was, sitting in triage and then thinking that they was all well, and then they'll let them get back on the floor, and then they get hurt again. Boom, you're out for another 2 weeks. So I don't think that's going to happen for Malik Monk, not with this staff. Okay, and pretty much they've been on the money about projecting when these players will be back on the floor right now. With the Trey Lyles, Sasha Vincent, Chris Duarte, he's been in and out earlier and stuff. So don't do that, man. Don't do that. Okay, unless they're absolutely sure that you're able to come back. Okay, I don't even know if you should come back for a play-in. Playoffs, yes. We know you still had that opportunity too, but leave that alone. Okay. So the man for the hour for the Boston Celtics was Kristaps Porzingis. He had 20 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists. He was 7 for 10 shooting from the floor. He made both of his 3-pointers. He was 4 for 4 at the free throw line, 1 block, 2 steals. He did all this in 24 minutes. He played half the game. Put that up. The problem was Peyton Pritchard. Peyton Pritchard had 21 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 2 steals. But he made 5 3-pointers. He was 50% out there. He made 5 of 10 shots in 3-point territory in 33 minutes. He was 8 for 16 shooting from the floor. He was a reserve, as he has been all season. Great shooter. Okay, I'm always impressed with this young man when he was playing with Oregon. They came up here a few years ago. That's when Dylan Brooks, who played for Houston right now, Chris Boucher, I think he's still with Detroit Pistons. I don't know what Chris. He was Toronto. Chris Boucher. I can't keep up. They was all on the squad together. Dylan Brooks, Peyton Pritchard, Chris Boucher, and there was another cat, the Greek brother. I forget what his name, from L.A. I think he played at Dorsey. Really disciplined ball players and stuff. They had played the first and second round here, Sacramento at the Golden One Center, and Pritchard was that shooter, and he was that shooter tonight. He hasn't lost a step since he's been a pro. Matter of fact, he's got better. He's the man. He is the man. Okay, I already mentioned Sam Hauser, Xavier Tillman. He had 9 points, 4 rebounds off the bench, and he hit the game-winning shot because after Fox hit a 3 to give them a 100-99 lead on the next possession, Xavier Tillman scored with 7 seconds left in the game. And that potentially became the game-winning shot. Now, the Kings did have another possession. As I said, there was 7 seconds remaining left in the fourth quarter. They come down. Of course, Fox, he took that shot. He missed. Okay, the ball bounced in Keegan Murray's direction. He took the shot. He missed. Okay, Colby Jones, who came off the bench, he was in on that possession. He goes up, try to tip the ball in, but I think he was smacked by Sam Hauser across the face. He had his hand on the ball. No foul. No foul. And quite honestly, the way that game was from the beginning to the end, no, you're not going to get that call. You don't get that call. Nobody get that call because that was a physical game too. They was letting them go at it. Okay, there was a lot of fouls in that game that were not called and probably should not have been called. And that one, it's not going to end that way. Not when they were playing physical all the way. The officials, I ain't no big fan of. But I think they got the right call on that too. And it was a foul. He did get slapped in the face. Okay. But there was some other fouls I was seeing that the King was, was doing during that game too. And they got away with too. So what can you do? Shoot, man. I hate it too. All I was looking forward to the ball to go through the net some way, somehow, when it was in De'Aaron Fox's hand. That didn't happen. That did not happen. Oh boy! So the Kings started off rough. They that first quarter they was outscored 27-15, and they were up 11-10. But the Celtics, they went on a 17-4 run to close out that first frame, and they led 27-15. They were 5 for 21 shooting from the floor. They only made 2 of 13 from 3-point territory. And the Celtics, they had shot 50% from the floor, 10 for 20, and they got 15 rebounds in that first quarter too. So, but hey, it's the NBA. You're going to have a bad quarter here. I think they were saying on the telecast, I think it was Mark Jones, that 15 points was the lowest quarter that the Kings shot or points made this season. So, hey, it happens. Because the Kings came back and they outscored the Celtics 35-27 in the second quarter. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Okay. And at one point they were down 49 to 49-37. And they closed out the second quarter on a 17-5 run, and they were down by, yes, right. It was 49-37. The Kings closed out the second quarter after that with a 17-5 run, and they were trailing 54-50 at the half. And they were down as many as 16 points in the second quarter. So, yes. Okay. So, yeah, the third quarter, as usual, Celtics came out. They went on that little run. I think they came out, they had a 10-2 run, or maybe a 4-2 run. And they zoomed up. They were up by 19 points at one point. Yes. By 19 points in the third quarter. And then it happened in the fourth quarter. Okay, the Kings were behind 98-79. They go on a 21-1 run, capped off by the three-pointer by Fox. So they went up by 100-99. Xavier Tillman, again, he comes down. He hit the game-winning shot. Then after that, those possessions that the Kings had started with Fox, Keegan Murray, and Colby Jones. No go. Oh, boy. I mean, if I look at my week, I guess the only shining moment is that, the Oakland A's will be relocating here to Sacramento next season for the 2025 season. That was announced yesterday. I'm pretty jazzed about that. I played baseball until I was about 19 years old. I love it. I love the game. I still love it. It's one of my favorite games. Matter of fact, it was probably the best sport that I played. I'm just sharing a little background about me, just sharing it with you. I'm not trying to be boasting about me and my athletic history and stuff, but I am a baseball fan, and I am a big fan of the Negro Baseball League. I try to study that as much as I possibly can to try to inject it in everything that I do. So I try to keep it alive. The Negro Baseball League kind of fell apart after Jackie Robinson was pulled up to the majors in 1947, and it stayed on to about 1960. It ran from about 1960, but it was over. It was over. But I just love the history of what they were doing, because a lot of people don't know, back then, it started back in the 1920s, and it went, for the next 40 years. The Negro Baseball Leagues were the third largest black businesses in the country. Yes. Well documented. So I'm pretty jazzed up about the A's moving here to Sacramento. As you can see, I am a Chicago Cubs diehard fan, as I am with most team from Illinois, team from Chicago too. So it's going to be a two-sports town for at least 3 years, possibly 4, or maybe permanently, if Las Vegas don't get their act together, and if the Kings are doing well at the box office these next 3 seasons. Everybody shows up, and show their support, show that Sacramento is, a stabilized center for Major League Baseball. It will stay here. That's my thought on that. We'll see. Right now, I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen with these Kings. I'm not giving up on the Sacramento Kings. Okay, and neither should you. Okay, I do want to thank you for tuning in for another episode of On the Cutting Room Floor. I'm the host, Tony Harvey. Okay, hit that like button. Okay, hit that subscribe button. All right, come back, fam, and listen to my digital commentary that I share with you. Always put something in the comment. You got a little some concern, something like that. Just as long as it's constructive criticism, I'm always good for that. Okay. Other than that, I don't pay attention to that. I try to be respectful with everybody. Like they said, respect is earned. I show you respect, and I hope to get respect in return. That's all there is to it. But thank you for tuning in for another episode of this telecast from Green Haven Pocket Area, right here in Sacramento. I will be back Sunday after the game with the Brooklyn Nets. We'll be watching some Final Four action as well. But I do want to thank you for giving me a little bit of your time and viewing this segment here. Sacramento Kings, they go down in defeat to the Boston Celtics, 101-100. Okay, just don't be. I know the score is kind of deceptive, but it's not what it really was. I would have really been okay if the Kings won it that way, if that's the way it had to be done. But Joe Mazzulla, I'll have to see you again until next season. Oh my goodness, you're getting on my nerve, man. I love you though. I do. It's just how you be doing, Sacramento King. Peace, love, and solidarity. I am out of here.